Okay, we are back live after a 5-minute break for procedural advice. Madam Clerk, would you advise us on the result of our break and discussions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I had the opportunity to consult with Councillor Penrod, and after getting the details of what he likes to propose, I think it's different enough that it is substantially different. So we could deal with this motion as presented on the floor. And then after that, we could deal with Councillor Penrod's subsequent motion.
Okay, that's how we'll proceed then. Councillor Halibut, you had a question. Are you still having asked a question? Because we're going back to first motion now.
Yeah. Quick,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
You have the floor, Nathan.
Thank you, Mayor. Just given the explanation that we were provided, I was hoping that we could come to an agreement with an amendment for this. However, that not being the case, I unfortunately, and I say this because I do appreciate and value everything that every city employee does here. But again, coming from a conservative perspective here, I am going to support this motion, and by the looks of it, I might be the only one, but not to discredit all the hard work you do. So please accept that as well as you can.
Thanks, Councillor. Appreciate that. Steve, you want one last comment on your motion before I call for the vote? Seeing none. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. Council, motions in front of us. Steve, would you mind to read it one more time just for the record, please? Thank you, Councillor Van Newkirk.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. That motion was that the proposed 2024 municipal operating budget be amended by removing funding for the cost of living adjustment in the amount of $332,600 and the merit and benefit funds in the amount of $499,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Appreciate that. Seeing no further discussion on the motion, Council, I'll ask you to vote on the motion before you. That motion is defeated, 6-1. The only affirmative vote was Councillor Telebus. 6-1 defeated. Thank you, Councillor Van Newkirk, for bringing that forward. Next, we will then, in a moment here, when Madam Clerk is ready, we will entertain Councillor Penrod's motion when it's on the screen. Philip, I'll ask you to move it in a moment here when it's on the screen. If you're prepared, please proceed.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that the proposed 2024 municipal operating budget be amended by reducing the pay and benefits costs by $255,000 from $1,072,900 to $817,900.
Thank you, Councillor. Please speak to your motion. If you wish, if you want to, you're welcome to.
Yes, thank you. So just in brief, the reason I move this motion is twofold. One is I'd like to buy us a little bit of wiggle room, and I'd like to, I have a rule of thumb I try to operate by anytime I'm working with groups, is that try to systematically disappoint everyone equally. So not everyone gets what they want, but everybody hopefully gets what they need in the end. And so that's a bit of the spirit of what I'm doing here. I'd like to meet folks who are just wondering how they can pay one more bill that's going up this year and kind of at their wits' end for how to balance their household budgets, but also still retain a lot of latitude for administration to allocate those resources in the way they best see fit.
Thank you, Councillor. I appreciate your comments. I'll come back to you for a final comment before we call the vote, okay?
Pardon me, could I just add one more thing?
Yes, please.
So the reason for the $255,000 is that's the amount that equals a 1% increase or decrease in our tax levy. So this saves us a 1% increase in the levy.
Yeah, so that's take us out from 6.49 to 5.49 should the motion pass. Fair enough. With that, open the floor to discussion. I have Councillor Swain first. Sam, you have the floor on this motion.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. I promise. No long-winded speech here. So you just quickly talked about not everyone gets what they want. I would argue that admin's not getting what they want here. That there are many people in administration who are not going to get the merit that they would like. So I think we're already at a good compromise. The one thing I'll say is, I appreciate what you're trying to do. You're trying to find a way to cut this our tax levy so we can fund some other things. Personally, I've got some other solutions that I think are better than cutting it out of staff wages and COLA, et cetera. So I'll be voting against the motion. I appreciate what you're trying to do. I just think there's a better way to go about it. So I'll be a no on this one.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other comments from other members of council on this motion before us? Councillor Van Newkirk. Stephen, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you. I had a lot to say on the last one, so I'll spare a lot of that. But what I would say is there is a long budget ahead of us here, and I think finding that wiggle room is going to be a possibility in a couple of other categories. And there's always an opportunity to loop back on many items in this, creative ways even to loop back on this subject if we needed to. And we got a long road ahead in this budget. So for this motion here, I won't be in support. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Barnhart. Kathy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate where Councillor Penrod's coming from. I'm having difficulty making, not making a decision. I won't be supporting it, but the 255,000 is not the number I came to. So I need to ask that question first off to Mr. Dowell or Mr. DeBlanco. Is 255, that's 1% tax levy increase?
Yeah,
Exactly that?
254, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
1%.
must have divided the wrong thing, so glad to have that clarified. The other part of this is that I would not take it all from that line item. I much prefer to say to the administration, take 255,000 out of the budget and you tell us where it's coming from, than to take it out of that particular line, because I have no idea what impact that's going to have. Because I don't see where it's coming from within the numbers that they put in front of us. So for that reason, I won't be supporting it at this time. And I do believe there's other ways to come up with the savings in the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Seeing no further comments from anybody else, I will not be supporting the motion either for the reasons I stated in the previous motion. Thank you. Seeing no further discussion on the motion from members of council, Councillor Penrod, one final comment if you wish it. You have the floor, sir, or I'll go to the vote. Thank you. I'll proceed accordingly. Council, would you please vote on the motion before you on the screen? Yeah. You had to check yourself there. I know what you mean. Thank you, Council. That motion is defeated 5-2. In favor were Councillors Penrod and Councillors Natelibus. None in favor, Councillors Barnhart, Daniluk, Monkoff, Swain, McCook, and Van Newkirk. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Councillor Penrod, for bringing that forward and causing some additional debate, which we're here to do. And I appreciate the intent of the debate brought for us now. We are sitting now at almost 7:35. Normally take about a 10-minute break around this time. We had a short break already, but rather than, I'll just take a quick 10-minute break here. We'll come back at 7:45 promptly if we could, and we'll continue on with the balance of this section from aquatics down to, I can't read my own glasses, Department of Efficiency. So we'll see you back in 10 minutes. Thank you.